So we have time. Let's start the next topic. So let me see how long is it. It's long. And chapter 23. And and our topic, sewing and tearing. Av melacha, tefer, sewing, is defined as using two items or two parts of the single item into one. I'm sorry. So melacha of sewing is defined as I said correctly. Uniting two items or two parts in a single item into one, right? Or two parts into single. So meaning it could be two parts of the same one, right? We just like bent and sew together, or two separate pieces you combine together. Doesn't matter. Okay. So this is sewing and that is sewing. It's not limited to specific act of attaching items with a thread, but include all sorts of permanent fastening, such as gluing and taping. So gluing and taping is a talada of sewing, right? And tearing is also like opening like potato chips or something. That would be violation of this halacha, or other things like packaged food. Especially if it's like glue shot, like some things like you have to cut with scissors, and then like below that they would have this like a ziplock. Okay. So 1 second. Okay. So it's not limited. So include all of the sorts of permanent fastening, such as gluing or taping. Furthermore, it applies to the fastening of the materials of all textures, such as cloth, paper, leather, plastic, and wood. So it doesn't matter what material is it, right? So if you have some kind of adhesive, that's the problem. So it's like considered to be sewing. The related melacha is korea, tearing. The melacha is defined as tearing, peeling, or cutting apart two things that were attached, or tearing or cutting soft materials such as cloth or paper. So let's read again and we're going to explain. So first of all, before we read again, so the thing is just go a little back to the history of the of this melacha, the base of this melacha. So there was like insect, moss, I think that's what it's called. I think that eats wool, right? And consumes wool, and the paroches that these curtains that cover the mishkan were made from wool, right? So these insects, they would make holes, like they would eat. I'm not sure how they would eat, but that's the explanation. Maybe it was only in the Mishkan, because it says about Beis Hamikdash there were no insects, no flies ever, or in the Beis Hamikdash, and no birds, nothing. No birds like flying over, nothing, right? Or like I don't know, like rats or something, because there are a lot of meat. Mice, nothing ever, right? But about the Mishkan, says that these insects were present, so they would make like small holes, and in order to make it nice, they would cut a little more, and then sew together. Okay, so that's so this tearing. Biblically, tearing is forbidden for the purpose of sewing. So, but if you just tear destructively, it's forbidden only by rabbinic law. Okay, it's still we don't do it, but it's a different level. So continue, and it says, sewing is prohibited on Yom Tov as on Shabbos only, with one exception. Okay, it is permitted to sew up the stuffed chicken or turkey on Yom Tov. However, the threads must be kept, must have been inserted into the needle before the Yom Tov. Very interesting. After the sewing is complete, it is acceptable custom to burn off the remaining of the thread instead of cutting it. It's very interesting. So let's see example. I mean, in old country, that's what we usually do. You used to do, right? The grandma would put some stuffing into the chicken and sew it shut, so all the juices would be preserved inside of the chicken, right? It's very interesting. Right? So of course you have to sew. Like with a regular thread, I don't know what regular, not regular, I don't want to say because I don't know, right? So this is one of the exceptions because it's for the need of Yom Tov, for food, right? But he said that the thread must be inserted into the needle before the Yom Tov. Okay. So I guess because it is a thread is a muktzah. No, the thread, the needle is a muktzah. Okay, so continue. And when it's just cut off, so cut off like when we say tearing or like ripping is not allowed, right? So, but with the shinui is not ordinary way, not regular way. It would be allowed. So meaning they burned the part of, burn from the thread, whatever extra. Okay. So continue. But I guess if you prepare the threads, I mean, the woman usually knows how much the threads she needs, and even if she like, no, apologies, the burn from the needle, that's the burning. Okay. To separate the needle. Since the laws of the sewing on Yom Tov are in all other aspects identical to those sewing on Shabbos, we refer the reader to the Shabbos Home, Volume 1, Chapter 6 for details description of these halachas. Okay. We merely present some practical applications here. The halachas of tearing were presented Shabbos Home, Volume 1, Chapter 7. Many additional common applications of this prohibition will be discussed in the following chapter. So I mean, let's go a little further, and whatever I remember, I'm going to add. Okay. BeEzrat HaShem.